My first, like, literally, are you a fucking robot? Like, how is that even 24-year-old dude?
Crazy.
No matter what you said or thought of the way he played football or he's 24 years old. He has his entire life in front of him. He has an opportunity with the Steelers still. He could potentially become a guy. There is so much that could happen and just come out of nowhere. It was like, everyone really caught me, by the way. I was like, God damn, man. Like, that was... It legitimately got me. I did not expect it to as much as it did. I was like, you got to be kidding me. He's 24 years old, man. That's so fucking young.
Especially when you see like the story that he posted like the day before of him and Naj just like having a good time in the streets. And like, I know all his dudes were close. So, it's just tough.
Well, Chase. Clay, well, this is a couple years now. 2 out of the last 3 years, maybe. The Steelers have had somebody very, very, very close to the family pass away because the coach.
Yeah, the wideout coach passed away 2 seasons ago, I believe.
Rape, like in training camp.
Yeah.
And then now this. It is. Those are tough to get through as a family, as a team. Let's get to a break. Rest in peace, though. And nothing but positive vibes and love to all his family and friends and teammates. That is heartbreaking. All right, we'll be back in 4 minutes. And why is anybody calling Gil Brandt for anything?
Well, good question is right.
That's the first person you think of? I don't know. We're back in 4 minutes. There's just so much dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why is that even? Obviously what he said is remarkably stupid.
Yeah, despicable.
But just the thought of why is that the first go-to?
Yeah. Unless they were like, oh, he'll probably give us some answer like this.
No. You think that there's no way?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know how that happens. I was listening to it. I thought it was fake. I'm like, this has to be fake. So ridiculous. Gotta be humans, huh?
Yeah.
Let's be nice to each other one time. Because you never know when it's going to end. My last question before the boys have some, and I don't want to ever have to talk about somebody else's work because it's awkward and uncomfortable and I don't like it. But how do you balance being a human and breaking news? Honestly, this is an actual real question because I think we all saw what happened this weekend with the way the news of the devastating loss of Dwayne Haskins happened. Schefter was literally trending right alongside of Dwayne Haskins all day. And my big takeaway was that, like, is Schefter not a human? Like, how are you, like, that is my big thing. Like, at some point, you got to be, how do you balance that in the cutthroat world that you're in, Ian, on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's a good question, and obviously one that I think, I'll speak for myself, like, I wrestle with all the time, right? Like, I do it with injuries. Like you see a player go down in the field and you want to break the injury, like how long he's out or whatever it is. But you also don't want to be someone who texts an agent 2 seconds after an injury with his player still lying on the field. So like and then it's like if it's a player, you happen to know, well then like, do I text him and be like, how's your injury? Like it is something I think about all the time. And I'll just talk to you through my process for this specific thing, not anybody else. This is just what I was dealing with Dwayne Haskins on Saturday morning. I was actually at my son's baseball game. I got a text and said like, hey, this is horrible, but I think Dwayne Haskins was killed last night. You might want to check into it. I said like, that's horrendous and horrible because I actually got to know Dwayne pretty well, and he is a great, great dude. Really enjoyed all my interactions with him. Like, hung out with him a small bit when I visited Washington camp, but he was great. And so I called the team, I called the agent. I didn't get it on the record, but I did confirm that the incident happened. And honestly, like I didn't feel great about breaking someone's death. I didn't. So my thought process in this case was the Steelers are generally a team that announces very serious things. If the agency or the team wants to announce it, I will just let them do it.
Yeah. So
that was me. I know obviously there's a lot of other discussion, but that was just my process. So when I called my bosses at the network, I let them know like, hey, this happened. I want you guys to be aware. And then I was waiting for the Steelers to announce it. When they did, I weighed in with some thoughts, then went on TV and talked about it. It is there's a lot of delicate, tough life situations. This was not a good one and not a fun one because any death is bad. Any death way before his time is bad. The fact that I knew Dwayne is also bad. fact that he was such a good guy is bad. I mean, it's all bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my process through this.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you explaining that because not a lot of people get to experience what you guys experience and the information you get. It just felt like, man, have you never had somebody in your life pass away? Like, that's almost like what I wanted to say. Like, what I don't even know how that is your first thought unless you're a fucking robot. And then I started thinking to myself, like, well, in your business, it's interesting. So we appreciate the hell out of you. I just want you to know that.
Well, thank you, man. I will say, like, this is something that I do feel like my business, and you know, I've probably talked about my job and how I do things more on your show than at any other time. So I feel like you guys really have a sense of this. Like, it does in a way force you to react quickly and then think about it. And so I'm constantly having to be like, hang on, I want to break this. I need to break this, but hang on. And there's been some instances where I've got it right. There's been some instances where I've not. But taking a deep breath and being like, is this 1,000% right? Or when I tweet this, what is somebody going to say? Like, it is so hard, but it is also obviously so important.